Call my number, call my name. If you wander back again, call my number, call my name. We both know